Good morning. I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my cozy kitchen. I'm excited this morning. It's Saturday, the day before Valentine's Day. So what I decided to do, rather than wait for Valentine's tomorrow, so we can kind of rest tomorrow, and my husband is probably going to cook for me tomorrow. I'm going to cook today, but what I'm going to start off with in this video, I'm going to bake sour cream. I always say sour cream cheese pound cake. Okay, and I know you've had all kind of cream cheese pound cakes, and that's fine. This one is good, and not only is it good, but we're going to take it up a notch. Okay, we're going to put a little filling in between the cake just to make it a little bit better than just your average cream cheese pound cake. It's a cinnamon and nut combination. I'm using walnuts, cinnamon, and brown sugar. And we're going to put that in between it. It's going to be good. Not only is this Valentine's weekend, but this is also my husband and my wedding anniversary. Yes, tomorrow will be 29 years that we've been married. And so today I thought, okay, we're going to have our little own private party, but it will include the kids. We'll have dinner this afternoon. I'm going to tape that because it's going to be a really nice special dinner. Quick and easy, but restaurant quality. We're going to do that later. But for now, we're going to get started on this sour cream. There I go again. Cream cheese pound cake. I don't even make a sour cream pound cake. I make a cream cheese. So we're going to get started now. See you in just a bit. Okay, y'all, we're going to start our pound cake now. And a lot of times, you know, I'm kind of at that age now to where sometimes I say things and they don't make sense. Just ignore it, okay? Sometimes I don't even realize I said it. But I did catch myself on the sour cream. So this cream cheese pound cake calls for 1.5 cups of butter. So what I've done, and that's actually equivalent to 3 sticks of butter. And I want you down in this mixer here. I've already taken and put my 3 sticks of butter. I let them get soft before I put them in here. They need to be really soft in order to cream up correctly. So it calls for 3 sticks of butter, and I'm using unsalted butter, but it also calls for, as it is a pound cake, it also calls for 6 ounces of cream cheese. And I'm going to use Philadelphia cream cheese. I want to get you in a way where you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, and then I'll move you back into the mixer. So what I have here is an 8-ounce pack of Philadelphia cream cheese. And I know I need 6 ounces. So what I'm going to do is just kind of guesstimate. I'm going to guesstimate. So out of 8, if I take half of this, we know that that's 4. Okay, we know that's 4 because it's half of 8. And then I want 2 more. So this is 4 as well. I'm going to take half of that. Okay, this part should be 6 ounces. Okay, and we'll take the rest and put it on some raisin toast or whatever, but we will use it. So I'm putting in the 6. So now we have a total of 6 ounces of cream cheese, and it can be the cream cheese of your choice. I happen to use Philadelphia. And we have 3 sticks of butter. Now 4 sticks of butter makes a pound of butter, but we're only using 3, and for that other 4th we're going to put in the cream cheese. So what you have to do first is take, I'm going to put my little gadget back on here. Okay, I wanted you to see it. And what we have to do is we have to cream this butter and cream cheese together. We have to cream it. It's got to get real creamy. I'm going to lock this and I'm going to turn it on. Now this I mix at a high speed. Mix at a very high speed to get it creamy. And the recipe also calls for, and you need to do this recipe just the way I'm doing it, in the order that I'm doing it. The recipe calls for 3 cups of sugar, and I have that. I have 3 cups of sugar here. And once we get this cream, we'll add in our sugar and let it cream even more. We want it to come to a light, pale, fluffy cream mixture before we put in our flour. And this cake recipe is easy. It's simple. It's not a whole lot. Once you get this buttercream, you add in all of your ingredients and you're done. But I gotta tell you, there has been years, there was a period where there were years when I did not bake cakes. I just found it too time consuming, and the way my mother taught me to bake a cake kind of traumatized me, I think. Traumatized me because we didn't use a mixer. Okay, we didn't use a mixer. She had a mixer. In fact, the mixer that she had, she said that my father bought it for her when they got married. Now, do you know when they got married? 1948. She had that mixer all that time, and we did not use it. Let me show you this butter here. So this butter is ready for the sugar because we're going to have to cream it some more. So we're going to turn it off. I'm going to take these 3 cups of sugar that I have here, and I'm going to put it down in this bowl, in the mixing bowl. Get rid of it. And I'm going to take my knife and get all of this off of here so it can all cream good. So this stuff gets stuck to your paddle here and it just stays there. So let's get it off so we can get it all mixed in there together. This has to be done right or your cake is not going to come out right. Okay, so now that, and we're going to scrape down the edges too. Make sure all of that gets incorporated. Scrape down all of your edges. You want all that in there. All that butter and cream cheese. Okay. Get off of there. Back down into the pot. Okay, I'm gonna lock it again. We're gonna turn this on, get some of that sugar going, and then we're gonna turn it up high so that it can cream. There we go. Just wiping off my hands. We're gonna let that mix a few minutes. But anyway, what I was saying was, she had a mixer, but we could never use it. This mixer she brought when we moved from the north. We moved here in 1976. She brought that mixer with her. She sat it up on top of the refrigerator, and that's where that mixer sat for over 4 decades. 4 decades. And it's not that I never asked her why we couldn't use the mixer, because I did several times. From the time I was very young, maybe in my teens, and we'd be baking, and I would say, Ma, why can't we use that mixer? She said, oh, I don't want to use that mixer. I do better with my hands. And when I say with our hands, I mean we use the spoon and our wrist. And you took that spoon and you didn't stir that cake. You beat that cake, okay? Even this part that I'm doing right now, this creaming part, we beat with the spoon. This is looking good, y'all. This is looking good. Look at that. Look at that. See how pale it's gotten? That's where we want it. Good and pale. So now we know that there's enough air in there And we're gonna start adding our eggs. Now, what I do is, and I'm gonna pull you back some so you can see what I'm doing with these eggs. What I do is, I'm gonna add 1 egg at a time, and I'm gonna crack the eggs into a separate bowl. I was baking last night, and luckily I was using a separate bowl like I normally do. I was cracking eggs, and sure enough, shells got in there, but because it was in a separate cup, I was able to pull the eggshells out. So we're gonna add 1 at a time. Now this recipe calls for 6 eggs. I have my 6 eggs, but we're only putting 4 whole eggs in here. And the other 2 eggs, we're just gonna use the yolk. Okay, and when I post this video, I'm gonna put the recipe in there so you can go in there and find the recipe. We're using a total of 6 eggs, but only 4 whole eggs and 2 yolks. So we're gonna start that. And we're just gonna mix these eggs enough for the yolk to get incorporated in there. This is a cake that we don't wanna overmix, okay? From this point on, we do not want to overmix it. So we're gonna start. I'm going to turn it back on low, and we are going to beat it kind of low. Crack my first egg. Put it in. 1 at a time, y'all. 1 egg at a time. I'm not going to be in a rush for this. It's my second egg. Let me get some paper towel. That egg on my hand bothers me. I like to cook, but I don't like all the gook on my hand. Okay, we're gonna add our second egg, second whole egg, remember. 4 whole eggs. Okay, we're gonna crack our third egg. But anyway, as I was saying, so for years, I did not bake cakes because it just seemed like it was too much. And after all the years, this is our third egg, after all of the years of not using a mixer, one day I went over to my mother's house, and it wasn't too long before she passed, I guess a year or so. I had taken her back over to her house to check things out because she was kind of staying here and staying some with my sister. Crack that 4th egg. I'm talking. I want to talk and cook. And because we don't want to overbeat this cake. And I took her over there and she said to me, why don't you take that mixer? Now, this is a mixer I've been looking at on top of that refrigerator for over 40 some years. And when she said it, you know how when someone says something and you think, do they know what they just said? So you question it. And I said to my mother, are you sure you don't want to give me that mixer? She said, no, I'm never going to use it. So you might as well take it and use it to bake cakes. I didn't question her anymore. I got that mixer and I got out of that house. And I still have that mixer. Let's look at this cake now. Okay, so we got 4 whole eggs in there. Now we're gonna put a yolk. And I'm gonna separate it over here with the trash. All I want is the yellow, the yolk. That's all I want. That's 1 yolk. And I can dump it right out of the shell into the 2 yolks. All right, that's it for that. That's it for the eggs. 4 whole eggs, 2 egg yolks, right? And you see I got it beaten really, really slow. So I don't want to overmix it. And I hope you can see down into this bowl. Let me get you over here so you can see down in that bowl. Look at that. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is, this cake calls for 1/4 cup of half and half. because I don't want to over mix it, I'm going to turn it off. It calls for 1/4 cup of half and half. And I have that. And I'm going to show you the half and half, so you'll know what I'm using. You can use any brand. Oh, that's the heavy whipping cream. I want the half and half. Use any brand you want. Okay? Half and half. It's like half cream, half milk. So I'm going to go ahead on and put that in because the flour that we're using will go in last. Sometimes I hold back on a little bit of this because this cake is going to get thick. I'll add some of it now, add the rest of it later. And I'm going to use 2 teaspoons of vanilla flavor. Now, I think I've told you all before, even when a cake only calls for vanilla, there's certain cakes that I put lemon in anyway, lemon extract. And this one I do, even though the recipe does not call for it. And I'm just gonna put maybe a half of, that's a whole, and that's good. That's okay, it's okay, yes. And now, I don't know what I do with my napkins. And so now we're going to start blending in our flour. I'm going to start blending in our flour. And this cake calls for 3 cups. Let's turn this on just for a minute. This cake calls for 3 cups of all-purpose flour. Plain flour, all-purpose flour it calls for. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this flour slowly. I'm not going to put it all in at one time. I'm going to add it slowly. So now I'm going to stop it. And when you add it, you're not going to over mix it. Once again, you're just going to add it, beat it enough to incorporate that flour. So I'm going to take about 1/3 of this flour. It's 3 cups, remember? Take about 1/3, get it going, let it mix a little bit. See how easy this is? And we're about done. Now what I didn't do and I forgot to do was to add my 1 teaspoon. It also calls for 1 teaspoon of salt. And normally what I do is mix that salt into my flour. And I forgot to do that, and that's very important. So we're gonna put 1 teaspoon of salt. Just 1. Okay, so that's beat a little bit. I'm gonna add some more. And we have the salt in here. All right, and then when that mixes in a little bit, we'll add the rest of the flour. And we're just gonna mix it just enough. And like I said, this is gonna be a thick batter, and that's fine. That's how it's supposed to be. But needless to say, when I left her house with that mixer, because I didn't own one at the time, when I left her house with that mixer, I started baking cakes. And it's been several years now. But there's almost not a, I'm turning it off, almost not a weekend that goes by I don't bake something. I've always baked cobblers and pies, stuff like that. But cakes, it's too traumatized. But she gave me that mixer, and I have been baking ever since. And when she would be here with me, I'd pull that mixer out and I said, Mom, I'm gonna bake a cake. I'd just be so excited, just beside myself. And she would just smile. She would just smile because she knew she had made me happy. And I've been baking cakes ever since, yes. And that cake mix my mother made, it was from scratch. It was a yellow cake mix, but it was from scratch. It was no easy task. And the more flour we added to it, the harder it got to beat with that spoon. One day I'm gonna show you her mixer. Okay, so we've added all of the flour. We got the salt, we got the sugar, we got the eggs. Get all that added out. And that's as easy as it is. Let's put the rest of our half and half in there. Okay, and so that's about enough beating for that. I know it doesn't seem like a lot. You don't beat it on high because you don't want to overdo it. And I'm going to turn it off, and what I'm going to do is just stir it a little bit to make sure everything in the bottom is incorporated. I'm going to get all of this off of our paddle here. Paddle, beater, whatever it's called. All right, look at that. It's gonna be a good cake. It's gonna be a really good cake. Now I'm elevating this cake a little bit, but I have done it where I elevated a little bit more. But to save time today, we're not gonna do that. Okay. Take this off. I'm doing it where I can't see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay. I know, a lot of noise. I'm sorry. Let's get all of this off of here. Yeah, we don't want to waste anything. I don't want to waste anything. Wash my hands real quick. All right. Now, I'm going to take this off of the stand. I'm going to pull you back just a smidgen here. Take it off the stand and just stir it from the bottom. Make sure everything, I'm not beating it, I'm just kind of getting everything up. Okay, now we're gonna bake this at 300 degrees, and I already have my oven on this time, y'all. Last time I made a cake, I forgot to turn the oven on, but I got it on today. And it's at 300 degrees. This cake is going to cook for about an hour and 20 minutes. I normally pull mine out an hour and 15 minutes. Seems like that 5 minutes makes a big difference. But I guess it depends on your oven too. And yes, I use a toothpick to stick in it to make sure that it's not still wet. Okay, so that's mixed enough. That's mixed enough. And what I'm gonna do is bring my, I'm gonna move this out of the way. I'm gonna put it up in this little home down here so I can show you the pan and show you what I'm gonna do with this cake batter. Okay, I have a pan already greased. The pan is already greased. The only thing I need to do that I haven't done is flour the pan. But I greased it really, really good. See, really good. You want that cake to just slide out. When you flip that cake onto that cake plate, it's just gonna slide out. And you'll feel it drop. Okay, so let's put a little flour in here. And I've showed you all how to flour a pan. And this is a weird pan. So, because it has that piece in the middle, so you want to try to get, we're going to try not to make a mess, y'all. And where flour doesn't stick just means you don't have the grease there. That flour doesn't stick. That means like right there. I have a little something there going on. So let's get it all up around the edges. And usually I do this over the sink so that all the excess flour drops into the sink. And I also want it there in the middle. Okay. Then I'm just gonna take, I'm gonna back you up so you can see. I'm just gonna take and put the excess flour into the sink. Just knock it off. See that? Okay, now I told you I was going to put a little cinnamon mixture in this, and I am. So what I'm going to do, I want it kind of in the center, as close to the center as I can get it. So I have already made this cinnamon mixture up with the nuts. Have chopped walnuts. And you can use pecans, you can use any kind of nuts that you like. And if you're allergic to nuts, just bake the cake. The cake is good as it is. But I just want a little something extra in it. Especially when you're feeding it to kids, you know, they like a little something extra. So what I'm going to do is take half of this batter, and put it into my pan. And like I said, it's thick. It's always thick when I make it. That's fine. That's how it's supposed to be. Take and put half in here. And I posted a picture of this cake on Facebook a few weeks ago because I do bake it a lot. Because we like it. Yes, my husband and I are celebrating 29. 29? It's a long time, guys. Although it's going by so fast, you don't even realize it. But tonight I'm going to make two of his favorite dishes. Two of his favorite. He likes steak, and he likes this dish that I call rosemary garlic chicken breast. Oh my gosh, and it's good. I'm going to show you all that in another video. But anyway, okay, here we go. So I put half in there. So now I'm going to take my cinnamon nut and brown sugar. And let me tell you how much this is. I don't know. I might have already told you. It's a cup of nuts of your choice, chopped nuts. It's 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And it's 1 teaspoon, or 2 teaspoons, I'm sorry, of cinnamon. And so what I'm going to do, once this cake cools down, I'm going to make a glaze for it, for the top of it. I don't like that nut right there. It doesn't look right. Ugly. I'm going to make a glaze, and the glaze, normally with this cake, if I don't put this in it, I make a lemon glaze. But for this one, since I'm putting this cinnamon in it, I'm going to make a vanilla glaze. Okay, so now we got that. And this is going to bake up so pretty. When you cut this cake, you will see this in the center. It is so pretty. Okay, if you hear someone whining, that's my dog. We have a dog in the house. Okay. And later on today, guys, when I make dinner, we're going to act as if we're at a restaurant. We're going to fix up the table, and we're going to have a good time this afternoon. Okay, here we go. We're going to put the rest of it in here. And we're going to gently put it in here so we don't mess up our little mixture. I know a lot of you probably make pound cakes. But you know, you can take a pound cake and elevate it and just make it just a different kind of cake. I've even thought about with this combination, I'd love to even try some sweet cooked apples in here. I think that would be good. Almost like an apple pie inside the cake. Yes, I'll try it one day. Okay, so we have everything out of here. I'm gonna try to level it off just a little bit because we don't want to mess up anything. Thank you guys for joining me. It's going to be a really good Thanksgiving dinner this afternoon. And I hope you watch that one. It's going to be 2 separate videos. This is like part 1. And we're done with that. Hit it a little bit, not hard, just a little bit, so that get the air bubbles out. And like I said, my stove is set to 300. I'm going to take this cake. I'm going to put it in the oven and let it cook for, I'm going to check it after 1 hour and 15 minutes. Remember that, 1 hour and 15 minutes. I'm going to check it. If it needs the extra 5, I will leave it in there. Okay, but I'll be back to show you the cake. Hi, I'm back, y'all. This cake has been cooking now for 1 hour and 17 minutes. And I am going to pull it out of this oven. And I wanted you to see it come out of the oven. Oh, look, y'all. And you tell me that this isn't a pretty cake. Is that a pretty cake or what? Can you see that cake? Oh, yes. Look at this cake. Oh, we're gonna sit it over here and let you come and take a good close look. Yes, right in here. Look at that cake. Is that beautiful? Look at that cake. Oh. And I'm going to give it about 5-10 minutes to get to where I can get it out of the pan. And I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you. But I wanted you to see that beautiful cake coming out of the oven. See you in just a bit. All right, y'all. I'm back. It's only been about 10-15 minutes. But what I've been thinking about is getting this cake out of the pan. I'm using an extra large cake plate today. I don't normally do that usually when I bake a cake, but because this is a special occasion, I wanted to use my bigger cake plate. So the challenge is getting this out of here. What I normally do, sit my cake on top, but it's usually the same size as a cake pan. This is much bigger. So it's still hot, but I'm gonna try to flip it over anyway. If a disaster happens, y'all, because the gloves will just make it sticky. Maybe I can use one. We're gonna get this cake out of this, and I wanted you to be here. I don't know. Maybe we should try something else, because this is hot. Let's see. We'll get it out. We will get it out. Yeah. Maybe like that. And then just, oh well, let's go. Flip it out. Yes. And see, the cake is already dropped. It's already dropped. That's how loose it is in here. We did it, y'all. Yeah, I never thought about using a bigger plate, and we lift it off. Look at that. Look at that beautiful cake. I didn't know if I wanted to scuffle with you all on camera or not, but I thought, no, anybody could run across that issue, so it's best that you see it. Look at that. That is a beautiful cake. Look at that cake. And you can also see the cinnamon where we have it in there. And so what I'm going to do, it's going to be a good while from now, because I'm going to have to let this cake cool all the way off. And I'm going to take and add a glaze. And the glaze is going to be simple. It's just going to be some confectioner's sugar. It's going to have a couple of drops of milk in it. And you put as much milk as you need for the consistency that you want. I want it to be a little bit thicker this time, so I won't use as much milk, and I'll put half a teaspoon of vanilla in it. Remember, I said I want the vanilla because we've used cinnamon and brown sugar in this cake. So we want it to kind of play off of each other. But after I put that glaze on here, I will be back, and I'll be back to show you my cake that we're going to add to our Valentine's. I know I said Thanksgiving before, our Valentine's table, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm back with that cake, and I wanted to show you real quick. I put the glaze on it, and I just wanted you to see it really quick. Isn't that beautiful? Yes, we're gonna have this as part of our dessert tonight for our Valentine's / anniversary dinner. And I'm gonna start that tape in just a few minutes. But here we are. Beautiful. Thank you for watching my video, joining me, and I hope to see you again. Bye-bye.